Hi everyone, this video is about our holistic wellness coaching, which is a combined service for 2023 and probably for the next couple years with Devaxx Coaching. And the reason why I've combined those services into one is that everybody's being exposed through some vector to graphene oxide or graphene hydroxide, or at least everybody that we've been scanning. There may be some people who live out in very remote areas that are somehow able to avoid it, but it's coming through various vectors, and so people need to be aware of it. But I did want to make a separate video for Devaxx Coaching and for holistic wellness coaching, because there is like a hair's breadth of difference between the services. And namely that if you come to me for the Devaxx coaching service, we start with the Devaxx panels. So we start with looking at the vaccine toxicity that you have imbibed within yourself through some way, whether you took the injections or whether you got secondhand vaccinosis from other people who took the injections, or if it got to you through another means, like by using public facilities, for example, or using public water supplies or municipal water supplies, or using or eating food that is contaminated, or even breathing air that has been contaminated by chemtrails and other geoengineering type projects. So there's lots of ways that it can get into you. But the hair's breadth of difference is this. When you come to me specifying that you want holistic wellness coaching as opposed to Devaxx coaching, we use the biofeedback system, the Genius Insight biofeedback, and we let the biofeedback be the guide in terms of what the bigger health issues are for you, which basically essentially means that we let your body tell us what to focus on first. So I am there. I do have my vaccine toxicity panels and my vaccine injury and illness panels, and I am checking those for everyone, whether you come to me for Devaxx coaching or for holistic wellness coaching, without the emphasis on the Devaxx. And you tell me which one you want to emphasize during your first session. So that's kind of the first, when you book up through that service, that's the first question I ask. What are we doing here? Is this a Devaxx thing or is this a holistic wellness thing? So don't freak out if you can't designate through the process of booking, which at some point I think I will put it in place where you can, but I haven't put that in place yet. So for now, you just sort of verbally tell me during your first session what you want to focus on. We go from there. But I'm checking all the Vax panels for everyone, whether you come to whichever one you prefer, because I just am hyper aware of it and I know that it's necessary. And I need to know, as far as like giving you holistic health insight and holistic health advice, I need to know what we're dealing with in terms of, do you have this type of infection? Is it impacting you? Is it in any way impacting your DNA? Is it in any way impacting your immune system? So like it's sort of like it's a necessary thing in the interest of being thorough. But of course, like I said, we base your tone, when you get your progress note from me. If you're doing holistic wellness coaching, you'll see that the panels that we discussed are the ones, whichever ones kind of come up at the top as the biggest concern for you through the Genius Insight biofeedback. And so a few other things in the other video, I recommend to everyone to watch both videos if you're interested in this service, whether you're coming in through the Devaxx aspect or the holistic wellness aspect. This video and the other video I made previously about the Devaxx coaching. Because I think it's helpful information in both the videos. But for this one, I sort of want to talk about more so the Genius Insight biofeedback. So what we do is we get a 15-second vocal print from you. And so you give me a vocal sample through whatever medium we're using, whether it's telephone or video chat. And that's something that we sort of designate through email and that kind of thing. And so when you come to me for that, what we do is most people just sing the ABC song or something to that effect. Baba Black Sheep, etc. You can recite a poem. You can read a passage. You can just talk for 15 seconds nonstop. Whatever you prefer, that will produce an entire vocal tonal range. So as I'm speaking right now, I'm producing a full tonal range. Some people are very monotone, and if you're very monotone, then you're gonna have to kind of give me something in terms of like a singing type situation, and I'll let you know if your tonal range is not measuring up to what we need for the algorithm to be correct. You You can also email me a current selfie, meaning as soon as you book the session, or even as close to the session as possible, would be ideal for sending me the selfie so that I can upload it into the system. The vast majority of the algorithms are based on the vocal print. It's like 85%. But if you send in a face photo, a full-on face selfie looking straight at the camera, that it can give a little additional information into what might be going on with you, and it's helpful, but it's not necessary. So that part's up to you. It's just whatever you want to do. Then we go through the process of sort of charting out your health plan, right? So we talk about your lifestyle. We talk about like your diet, your habits of movement, your habits of meditation and breath work. Different. Do you engage in recreational substance use? Like alcohol or anything like that, or even more escalated from alcohol. What are your lifestyle factors that contribute to these issues? And we sort of make a plan for you to get healthy. Now, in terms of lifestyle transition, holistic health is really about changing your lifestyle. It is what it boils down to, because most of us in these industrialized Western societies, we've been very deeply miseducated about diet. We've been targeted by cheap subsidized food, synthetic food byproducts that pretend to be nourishing food when it really isn't. Of course, we're dealing with pollution. We're dealing with industrial pollution, and we're dealing with geoengineering pollution, and all these things can impact our health negatively. And we're also taught, we're mistaught by the medical system in terms of how to be healthy. And so a lot of people are, let's say, even pharmaceuticals that you took 20 years ago could be lingering in your system and impacting your health today. So there's a lot of fronts for the battle, so to speak. So these things really don't happen overnight. But yet, and still, and by the same token, my own life is an example. I just have recently sort of reversed some disease state within my own body. It can happen really fast if you take it really seriously, and if you do things in a way that are commensurate to the seriousness of the toxicity and the seriousness of the issue. So we chart out a plan. And then we hold you sort of like, as you book follow-up sessions and that kind of thing, I can be a source of motivation and a source of sort of like accountability for, are you adhering to your plan? And I can speak from personal experience, like working with my integrative doctor, for example. A big part of what he did for me was just being that consistent accountability every 6 months. Are you meeting your goals? Are you doing what you said you were going to do last time? Everybody can use some of that sometimes. And so, I bring to bear sort of my expertise in holistic health in terms of the dietary and lifestyle changes. And then we also play that bit of doing the motivational coaching and the accountability. Now, I really love it when my clients kind of take some initiative and start to see, because over time, my goal is to turn you into an expert of managing your own health. That's really the long-term goal. And that can take a while, just FYI. But really, we want to empower people. We want to empower people to understand their bodies. We want to empower people to pay attention to their bodies. We want to empower people to listen to their bodies. And then to really build that confidence to say that, you know what? I've given away my authority and my expertise to people who didn't deserve it for so long, because all they ever did was make me sicker and more dependent and less wealthy because of my insurance premiums and my co-pays and et cetera, et cetera. And so in this case, we want you to really get to the point where you can manage your own health, ideally, and see me less and less and less. Most people who come to me really need to be seeing me about once a month, at least for the first 6 to 12 months, and that's just based on where you are. Now, some people might be very advanced to where that's not the case, and then you're just coming to me for something topical or something more specific, or simply just to have access to the biofeedback, which is all that's fine as well. But what I really love it is that when people start to take initiative. So I've had some Devaxx clients, for example, that after some in-depth conversations with me, and after like getting into the rhythm of doing the biofeedback and seeing what to focus on, and then following the protocols, and then seeing the benefits that they're able to produce for themselves, a lot of them will take the initiative to do their own research, and then they'll come back to me and say, hey, I'm thinking about trying this, or I did try this, or blah 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 blah. What do you think of it? And I always give them an honest opinion. And to be perfectly honest, I've been surprised and impressed, pleasantly surprised, pleasantly impressed by the quality of information, because we are at a state where there's just so much more information out there than what there used to be when I got started. Like these topics have been deliberately suppressed by wealthy, powerful interests for more than a century here in America, especially. If you look at the American paradigm, but in Western countries generally, and so like the fact that so many people are paying attention to this issue, so many people are out there comparing notes, so many people are out there trying to uncover the keys, the real keys to health, the real pathways to health now than ever before, in part because of this great poisoning thing that we're under, in part because of these, injectable poisons that are circulating, and people are starting to really wake up to that. We're at a different point in the timeline, basically. So that's, I think, part of the process. We want to stimulate your interest and being healthy all the time, so we don't want you to just come to me and then you're on fire and you're doing what you need to do for the week after you come to me, and then you slack off the next 3 weeks, and then you come to me again the following month, and we have to sort of like do things all over again. We want people to be sort of like consistent, and we want to stimulate you to get started, and then as more and more and more as you start to learn more about your own body and about holistic health, we would like to see you get empowered over time. Now, some people just by their personality type, they're always going to want somebody else to talk to, and that's fine too. So I don't kick people out of this service. I do kick people out of some services, out of other services in terms of there is, when you're doing the mental emotional side, it's an importance not to develop a codependence, on something, because, that's sort of like the center of it, like you developing it in mental and emotional independence. But for this service, I don't pretend to be a doctor, but if functionally speaking, you want to be seeing me for checkups, that kind of thing, let's go ahead and run a scan and see where I am. I think I'm okay, but let's just do checkups to be sure. That's a very appropriate way to use this service. So sometimes it becomes a taper down situation to where you're seeing me, once a month. Severe cases, I say twice a month. That is okay. And if you're like if you're in a very precarious situation with an advanced disease state, then we can go as much as once a week. But I don't like to do more than once a week for this service. I think that, for one, we need to leave some spaces open for other people, and for two, it's like you need at least a week to implement whatever interventions that we discuss in the sessions. So like the most severely ill, we can talk about once a week, but for people who are the average person is just gonna start off with once a month, and then we may taper down. So taper down can look like once every other month. Taper down can look like once a quarter. Taper down can look like once every 6 months. And then when you're really ready to fly on your own, taper down can be like maybe even once a year. That kind of thing. So we do it based on who you are, what you need, how quickly you learn, how natural this stuff is to you. Because some people take to holistic health in a very natural way. Some people, there's a very steep learning curve, so like it's kind of based on who you are as a person as well. So I think I've done a pretty good job in explaining like the flow of it, as well as the difference between holistic wellness coaching and Devaxx coaching. We are going to keep them as a combined service, definitely through 2023 and 2024, maybe beyond. I'll sort of like continue to reassess the global situation in terms of all that, and continue to sort of like listen to the readings too, because the readings kind of give us insight into how bad this issue is in terms of the pervasiveness of these toxicants in the environment currently. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I'm looking forward to working with you, and thanks for your interest in Sean Barker Coaching, extrophicesoterica.com. Ciao, ciao.